So let's talk about ego. We all know that ego is, like you have a negative you have a negative connotation. You have usually have a different. I mean, like ego. We usually have a negative feelings towards ego, thinking that ego is, like bad, and ego is what makes or what causes people harm, or ego is the one who that blocks us from the things that we want to do. But biologically, ego was given to man to save himself. Okay, so ego was given to man. So you just imagine ego as a seed or a gem. Say you have your id, ego, and superego. So your ego is given to you to save yourself. So back in the day, back to the Neanderthals, back to the aeons ago, ego was used by humans to save themselves, to keep the civilization, to keep the community intact, to keep them alive. Okay? So you will see how ego works in the animal kingdom, where if you're hungry and everyone around you is hungry, then what do you see when a nice prey coming in? So you have this salivating, instinctive reaction. Okay? So the fact that you have these instinctive things, it's natural for us, for the animals to have this primal barbaric reaction, because we have to survive. So that saves us from death. That saves us from ruins. The ego saves us from the harm, quote unquote, in whatever definition. So, yep, the microphone just died. So, where were we? Sorry for the interruption. The microphone just house. So anyway, like the ego was given to man because this is the seed. This activates our primal instincts to survive. Okay, so ego was given to man because we need to survive, and because of the need to survive, that has been so useful for aeons, just to keep. That's why the human civilization as we know today exists, because of ego. But now in today's world, everything changed so much that we don't have space for ego. Okay, because why do we need ego if we already have solutions in our hands? Okay, we already have computers in our hands, so what do we need to survive from? What do we need to do to feel, like ego, when once activated or once used, ego provokes your primal instincts. So if you have the void, if you have lack inside of you, so whatever you're hungry for, so let's say love, attention, or mama complex, papa complex. In my case, I have papa complex. Okay, and because I have papa complex, I know that in my dating life I will never be attracted to a young man. I will always look for a man who's at least 20 years old, or 15 years old, or 10 years older than me. And that has been unconscious to me until I began my shadow work. So, years of shadow work, led me here to where I'm now, where I'm talking to you, talking about ego, because my ego tried to save me from the hurt and the pain that I've seen and experienced from my own father. So, whatever my father has done, so whatever like damage or the negative and the bad stuff, because no father is perfect, okay? We can't expect a perfect father. So, unless if you're the source, and like there's no perfect in this world, that's why we have and appreciate the imperfections. And we think imperfections as a perfect art because it contains us, and us being human is being imperfect. And because of knowing all these things, years of shadow work took me to realize that what I what I'm doing is trying to save me from whatever my father had done in the past. So it's like, although I'm in my 30s now, and I think that my consciousness is okay, I married this man and this and that. But unconsciously, it was like a choice that I made to help me save myself from the pain that I experienced from my father. Okay, so you think like, if you think like you don't like your partner now, or you don't like your job right now, look back at your decisions at that time. Okay, what did your ego do to save you from something that led you to where you are now? And now you're thinking, I feel so. No, I mean, you're feeling, you're not really in the position where you can say, I feel at my best. I feel that I'm in my optimum level, and because of that, okay, you think. So that's conscious, that's conscious brain, it's your rational brain working. You think that you did this because this is what you needed, but actually these decisions that brought you to where you are now, in which you're so not really happy, it, you're brought here by the decisions, the unconscious decisions that you did in the past because of your ego. And now you're in the same position, to ask yourself, what did your ego try to save you from? Okay. So if you understand what I'm trying to say, it's important for us, for you, for me to talk about how ego works with us, works with you in your life. Because ego can be really upfront, like you're kind of face to face with your old self and the new self. There were times I'm in my position after 3 years. I started shadow work around 2021, so now I'm turning 4 years in shadow work. So I have here my years and journals of shadow work things going on. So I have my journals right here. So you see, I have my journal, that one. So I have here another one, that one, that one. So, and this is my new one. I'll show you. So this is my new one, and as you see, it's from an old book. That's from an old book, and I recycled it and used old pages. I used old scratch papers and bind it by hand. So you can see, I don't know if you can see. So you have there like hand sewn. So yeah, like it took me like 3-4 years to be in a position where I'm comfortable talking about ego with you, and to share about how this ego works around our daily lives and how it affects our decisions, and Like the more you're aware how your ego works, the more you kind of navigate your life properly. Especially if you're someone like me who has gone through traumas, who's suffering with, who's recovering with CPTSD, childhood post traumatic stress disorder, and someone who has tried to take life, my life, several times. And like just the fact that I've survived these horrors of my life, I am now in a position where I can stand in front of the mirror and talk to myself directly to my ego and tell her that I am not you. You are the representation of who I was. Okay? So every time I see myself in the mirror, I try to see myself as who I am now, not the person who I was. Okay? And who I was before, this dramatic woman who's, I mean, like the kind of woman who lived through difficulties, the woman who planned a lot, the kind of woman who always tried to anticipate life because she thinks she's not really able to adjust with life, and like stuff like that. And because of the way I functioned before, I wasn't able to, although I'm living my life as like a writer and all, I wasn't really in a great position where I could say like I enjoy writing, because I enjoy writing fiction because this is like my childhood dream. But at that time I was writing for business, I was writing for money, because money put food on the table, and it wasn't really like, okay, like that's the very thing that I like to do for the rest of my life. And because of that, I was living for others. I gave away my power to others for the sake of stability and harmony and whatsoever, at the cost of what? My mental health going south. Taking my own life several times, taking pills and all that, cutting wrist and all that. So, trigger warning for those of you, but that's what I've been through. And I'm talking to you. I'm talking not to you, I'm talking to your soul. I'm talking to your soul right now. Okay? And like in the last few weeks in my channel, it's like I'm showing you strokes of desire. And maybe you're asking, what's this? I mean, what's this? What's this? Like, okay, fiction. I draw out all these pains and all this stuff within me through fiction, and I allow fiction to process all what has gone through, or what I've been through, in a way where I can I can see myself through a character's lens, so it doesn't hurt my ego. Okay? Because let's say, for example, if I tell you immediately what you don't like to hear, how would you react? For sure, you'll be angry at me. You'll scream at me, oh, how dare you? How dare you say that to me? And all that. But it, like, after reacting like that, after overreacting like that, you would probably ask yourself, why did I react like that? But it takes time before you arrive to that place. Maybe you already parked your car in the parking lot, or maybe you already have gone through, like maybe you already went shower and dinner, but you already have done that action that would cause ripple effects later on. That same thing, that's little thing. You just screamed at someone on the street, but it created ripple effects. And that ripple effect will go big, and it goes macro scale. You're helping the world to suffer. You're helping people to suffer more than they already are. And why you're doing that? Because your ego wants to feel good. Your ego wants to make you feel safe, and to feel safe is to feel big because you feel so small inside. The more loud you are, you feel like you know it all. You feel like, okay, I will say something, I will speak something, I am. So, without really considering the ripple effects of what you're saying, or ripple effects of what you're doing, the ripple effects of everything that you're doing, you're complaining about the world so harmful, so dangerous, but you also are helping the world to be dangerous itself. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? How your ego, in small ways, can create ripple effects. But what if you massage your ego and say, and like the hanged man of the tarot, if you do the hangman, change perspective, what does your ego try to save you from? So that's a question I like to leave you for now. And I'd like you to think about it for the rest of the day if you like to. And yeah, that's one thing that I like you to think of. Why? Because not just because like I'm a writer and you're not, like this is not about proof. This is not about job, okay? This is not about what. This is talking to you, soul to soul, okay? So wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is, if you find this video and if you find that my message to you resonates with you, it strikes you, let me know, okay? Because right now this is what I'm thinking, this is what I've been processing for years. So let me know what you think about ego, and let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section below. And if you want to support me, you can subscribe, follow me on social media. I'm on TikTok. I'll leave the links below in the description, and you can also find me on Substack and all that. So I'll leave that in the description. But for now, I'd like you to think about your ego. Okay, what does your ego try to save you from? So that's it for today, and see you in the next one. Cheers.